this is Bijou Baker. I'm Maria. So I'm gonna make, let me tell you what happened. The other day I made some perfect pumpkin pie pancakes. They were amazing. They were beautiful and twice as delicious. And the last video I put out was for banana bread. So I'm getting great comments and compliments and thumbs up from the pumpkin pancakes. And I get a note saying, hey, what happened to your pumpkin pancakes? I don't see them on my list anymore. I don't know. So I went and I looked, and certainly they're not there. I went on my list and they're not there. They're not on my phone. They're not in my trash. I mean, the video just disappeared. I've never had that happen. I've talked to other YouTubers and they've never had that happen. Yay me. So I'm gonna make them again. The trials I go through. That's okay, because it's a Sunday morning and pumpkin pancakes are the best way to start your day. So I don't want to miss anything that I had in the other video. So here we go. Pumpkin pancakes, pumpkin pie pancakes, part 2. So the first thing I'm going to do, my recipe calls for 1.5 cups of buttermilk. And buttermilk just makes them so much richer. It's just a great flavor. Pumpkin, you know, if there was just buttermilk pancakes, you taste it, of course, a lot more, but I'm aiming for the pumpkin. But I like the buttermilk with this. Of course, I don't have any buttermilk. So I'm going to take my 1.5 cups of milk and add 1.5 tablespoons of just vinegar. And that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to let that sit aside so it can kind of curdle and do what it needs to do. And then when it's time to play, it'll be ready. Let's see. I've got my mise en place, things in place. You know, just my luck that something like that would happen. So 1.5. This one you kind of want to be a little bit pretty exact on. All right, that's going to set aside. And everything else I have here, let me show you. I've got 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of pureed pumpkin puree. I've got 3 tablespoons of melted butter, 1.5 cups of buttermilk. I've got 2 eggs, and I've got my seasonings. A tablespoon of dark brown sugar because I like the stronger molasses taste in it. And then I've got a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and what did I get for the ginger? I have a 1/2 teaspoon. And then I'm just gonna grate some nutmeg in it. And I guess if you're going to use a powdered, I'd use, let's say about 1/8 teaspoon. You need just a little bit of that. And also, did I say vanilla? Always add vanilla for your flavoring. Now, I'm going to take my dry ingredients, which are the cinnamon, ginger, baking soda, baking powder, and nutmeg. And I'm going to put them with my flour. That is such an aromatic. All right, and I'm just gonna mix them together. You can and probably should sift this just to avoid any lumps, but I know I had pre-sifted my flour before I put it in the bin, so I'm okay. That's it. Now I'm gonna take my wet ingredients, which would be my milk that had curdled, my melted butter. And anytime you work with melted butter, you want to make sure that the fat solids and the butter fat and the butter solids have come together, because it will separate. The fat solids will sink. You just bring it right back up. And then I'm going to take my eggs. And whisk these together. I'm going to add my vanilla. I'd say maybe, well, I'm always going to aim for a tablespoon, but if you don't like vanilla, don't use it. You could use any other flavor you want to, but it's just really hard to find that pumpkin pie flavor with something else. And 1 cup of pumpkin puree. Yeah, and I'm that person that's going to get every bit of it. There's a reason I have it, you know. You could do this in a food processor, I guess, or you can do it. I've done it with my stand-up mixer. It's just whatever is going to work for you. But when you start doing the flour, stop. You do that by hand. And then you're going to take your 1 tablespoon, and you know, when you pack it, it keeps its shape. We don't want the shape inside. See, then it starts to dissolve with the liquid. All right, and then I'm just going to add my dry ingredients. You know what? I'm just going to put them all together because I'm going to mix them slow, and I don't want to over mix. So once I know it's all together, then I know it's done. Seriously, guys, it really does smell like pumpkin pie. The cinnamon and the nutmeg, they really stand out. Now, this is a thick batter, which is good because it's going to the powdered sugar. No, the baking soda and the baking powder, those are your leveling agents, and that's what's going to make them fluffy. So I don't want to go more than this. All right, let's get them on the griddle. Okay, so the one thing I do is I use just vegetable spray. You could use butter or any other solid fat, but with the spray, you're going to get it so even. Okay, it's going to be on there nice and even. If you have the butter, it'll start to fall off to the sides, and then it'll even do that with this, and then I'll kind of scrape that back in to put it in its place. But it's light. I don't want to fry and bubble the edges of it. Okay. Okay, so you want to know when the pan is ready to put your batter in, when it sizzles. That's not sizzling yet, so we're going to wait and let it get a little bit hotter. You want it at a medium-low temperature. You want this to be a real slow rise and a real slow bake. I'm also going to be using a ladle. It's going to give me the perfect amount of batter. All right, there you go. That's a good sizzle. That's ready for some batter. All right, so when do you know when to turn the thing? It's a lot easier to tell with thinner batter because it's going to bubble up. You're going to get a whole bunch of bubbles in the inside. The edges are going to start to look like a little dull, not as shiny. And that's when you flip them. With the thicker pancakes, you're going to have to pay a little more attention. You're going to get bubbles, but you're not going to get as many. I wonder if I should... The last one I'll thin down with a little bit more milk so that you can see. But in the meantime, you just have to sit and wait. Oh, and don't turn up the heat so that they'll cook faster. You'll burn them. And that's not the flavor you want. So just, multitask or sit and wait and smell and then prepare your palate for this amazing stuff. But don't fiddle with the temperature. You'll be glad you didn't. All right, that's beautiful. You can see that it's not as shiny over there. You can see these bubbles ready to pop. Okay, that is just perfect. So I'm going to plate this. Now, how was I saying about the butter? The edges will have its grease, or spray in this case, and I'm just going to scoot it back in the middle, because otherwise it's just going to stay there. So I'll do another ladle. And let that cook. In the meantime, I'm going to put a little bit of butter on each layer. So light and fluffy. And continue to watch this cook. At this point, you're going to be really tempted to flatten the pancake out. Don't touch it. Just flip it over and leave it alone. When you flatten it, you really are going to flatten it, and you might not always get a cooked pancake that way. So just let it do its work. Okay, just so you can see the difference between the fuller, thicker pancakes and the thinner one when they bubble, I'm going to thin this last batch down with just some milk. It's just, I don't even know measurement. I'm just going to thin it down because I want you to see how they bake differently. Okay, so with the thinner pancakes, you're going to want to lower your temperature to a lower medium. Okay, I put a little bit more spray just because it was about ready for time for that. And you can see it's pretty watered down. That's okay. That's a good pancake still. So I'm just going to all right. You're going to be able to see the bubbles a lot easier. You can see the work that's going on here. Is that beautiful or what? I don't mind that I had to redo this recipe at all. So it's a pumpkin pie pancake, so I do serve it like a pie. And there's plenty for a family. And I am gonna taste this baby. Boy, what a way to wake up on the day after Thanksgiving. Just saying. Okay. Oh my gosh. That is so good. All right, so I'm gonna finish this. That is my perfect pumpkin pie pancakes. Take 2. I'll probably take 3 or 4 after I'm done. All right, well, I don't know what happened to that mysterious video, but well, no harm done. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you try it. I hope you love it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share and do all that wonderful sort of stuff. And have a fantastic day. Until next time, my friends, happy baking.
Ah, that was fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe.